Good morning. I want to ask you something before we start today. When you walk into your kitchen in the morning, what is the first thing you do? Do you go straight to the kettle? Do you open the fridge? Do you stand there for a moment just trying to remember what day it is? I do the standing thing every single morning, just standing in the kitchen. Eyes half open, brain not quite working yet, just existing. And then slowly, the kitchen wakes me up. The sound of the kettle, the smell of something cooking, the small, quiet, ordinary ritual of making breakfast. Today, I am taking you into the kitchen with me. We are going to make breakfast together. And while we do, you are going to learn the real English vocabulary that people use every single day in their kitchens, not textbook vocabulary. Real vocabulary. The kind that native speakers use while they are actually cooking. The names for things, the verbs for actions, the expressions for describing what they are making and how they are making it. I am Emma, and welcome to Real Life English, the podcast, your cozy place to learn real English through real daily life. This episode is perfect for B1 and B2 learners. But honestly, if you make breakfast in the morning, this episode is for you. And that is most people. Your comment homework for today. Tell me, what do you usually have for breakfast? One honest sentence. In English. I read every single comment, and I always love hearing what people eat in the morning. There is something so personal about breakfast. All right, let us go into the kitchen. Okay, first things first. And I love that expression, by the way. First things first. It means you start with the most important or most necessary step before anything else. First things first. First things first. I need to preheat the pan. Preheat means to warm something up before you actually use it. Before you put food in, you give it time to reach the right temperature first. Preheat. I always preheat my pan before adding oil or eggs, because if the pan is cold, the eggs will stick. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants eggs that are completely glued to the bottom of the pan. Stick. When food sticks to a pan, it means it attaches to the surface and will not come off easily. The eggs are going to stick if the pan is not hot enough. Stick. So, pan is preheating. Good. Now, while the pan warms up, I add oil. I pour a little olive oil into the pan and let it spread across the bottom. I move it around so it covers the surface evenly. Evenly means distributed equally. No big pools of oil in one corner and nothing in another. Evenly spread. And here is a little tip I use to test if the pan is ready. I tilt it gently and watch the oil. If the oil slides smoothly across the surface, the pan is ready. If it moves slowly and reluctantly, it needs a bit more time. Slides smoothly, like it is gliding. That is when you know you are ready to cook. Now, eggs. I am making scrambled eggs this morning. Scrambled eggs means you mix the eggs together while they cook. You do not leave the yolk whole. You break it and mix everything together. The yolk, by the way, is the yellow part in the middle of the egg. The yolk. And the white part around it is called the egg white, or just the white. When I make scrambled eggs, I crack the eggs directly into the pan. And I love that word, crack. To crack an egg means to break the shell to get the egg out. You tap the egg firmly against the edge of the pan or a bowl and the shell breaks and the egg falls out. Crack. Crack an egg. And I want to say something about cracking eggs. It sounds simple. And after you have done it 1,000 times, it is simple. But the first few times, you either put the whole shell in, or you do it so gently that nothing comes out at all. Cracking eggs is one of those things that is harder than it looks. Do you know how to crack an egg properly? Tell me in the comments, because I am genuinely curious. Okay, eggs are in the pan. Time to scramble. I use a spatula to mix the eggs as they cook. A spatula is that flat kitchen tool with a long handle that you use for flipping or mixing things in a pan. Spatula. And here is something interesting about the word spatula. The middle of the word has a T in it. But in natural spoken English, especially in American English, that T often sounds more like a soft D, spatula. The way the tongue moves makes the T softer, spatula. This happens with a lot of T sounds in English when they fall between two vowels. The T gets softer, more like a D. It is one of those things that makes natural spoken English sound different from the written version. Now, while the eggs are cooking, I add some seasoning. Seasoning means the things you add to food to give it flavor. Salt, pepper, herbs, spices. These are all types of seasoning. Season the eggs. Add some seasoning. I add a small amount of salt. Just a pinch. A pinch means the small amount you can pick up between your thumb and finger. Just a pinch of salt. And I add a little garlic powder. Garlic powder is dried garlic ground into a fine powder. You can add it to almost anything, and it gives a warm, savory depth to the flavor. Garlic powder. It is a little bit of a shortcut. Real garlic takes more time. Garlic powder is the quick version. Savory, by the way, means a flavor that is not sweet. Rich, deep, warm, but not sugary. Savory. The opposite of sweet. And then I grate some cheese. To grate means to rub something against a grater to produce small, thin pieces. You might grate cheese. You might grate a carrot. You might grate nutmeg over a dessert. Grate. The tool you use is called a grater. I grate cheddar cheese over the eggs while they are still in the pan, so the cheese melts a little from the heat. Just slightly. Just enough to go soft and creamy inside the scrambled eggs. And here is that T to D sound again. Grating. Grating the cheese. The T in the middle of grating sounds like a soft D. Grating. Grating. You can hear how the tongue moves quickly past that sound. These pronunciation details, they matter. Not because anyone will misunderstand you if you say the T strongly. They will understand you perfectly. But hearing the pattern, recognizing it when native speakers use it, that helps your listening. And slowly, it starts to feel natural in your own speaking, too. While the eggs are finishing, let me tell you about the rest of breakfast. Toast. Toast is what bread becomes when you put it in a toaster and heat it until it is crispy and slightly golden. The bread is bread. The toasted bread is toast. And the moment the toast is ready, the toaster makes a specific sound. The toast pops. We say, the toast pops. Or, it has popped. Did it pop yet? A light, satisfying click, and the toast jumps up from the toaster. Pops. I love that word for it. Pop. It is exactly the right sound. I spread butter on my toast first. To spread means to push something soft across a surface so it covers it. You spread butter. You spread jam. You spread peanut butter. The tool you use is called a butter knife. A butter knife is a blunt knife, not sharp, just for spreading soft things. Butter knife. And then I add jam. Jam is that sweet fruit-based spread that you put on toast, made from cooked fruit and sugar. You might have strawberry jam, blueberry jam, apricot jam, many different kinds. I like jam that actually tastes like the fruit it came from, not just sugar with a color added. Real jam. Jam with actual fruit flavor. Tart, by the way, is a great word for a flavor that is sharp and slightly sour in a pleasant way. Not too sweet, a little tart, like lemon, like certain berries. Tart. A nice tart jam is perfect on toast. Now, tea. I am making tea this morning, and I want to tell you something. I am always excited about morning tea. This is not an exaggeration. It is the thing I look forward to most, even before the eggs, even before the toast. The tea. I use an electric kettle. An electric kettle is a small appliance that boils water very quickly. You fill it with water, you press the button, and within a few minutes, the water is boiling. Electric kettle. And here is a vocabulary note. We say the water is boiling. Boiling means the water is so hot that it is actively bubbling. Steam is rising. It is at its maximum heat. Boiling. I put a tea bag into my mug. A mug is a large cup, usually with a handle, used for hot drinks, bigger than a teacup. More casual, more everyday. A mug. I have a favorite mug. I use it every single day. It is a little old now. It has a small chip on one side, but it is my mug and I love it. And there is something really nice about having a specific mug that is yours. Your morning mug. The one that just feels right in your hands. Do you have a favorite mug? Tell me about it. I pour the hot water over the tea bag and let it steep. Steep means to leave the tea bag in the hot water for a few minutes so the flavor comes out. The water changes color. It becomes darker, richer, more flavorful. The longer you steep it, the stronger the tea. Steep. Let it steep and strong. We use the word strong for drinks. Strong tea, strong coffee. Strong means very flavorful, very full of its characteristic taste. Not weak or watery, strong. Weak is the opposite. Weak tea means there is very little flavor, like the tea bag was in for 30 seconds and then removed immediately. Nobody wants weak tea. After the tea has steeped, I add milk. Just a little. I watch the milk pour into the dark tea and spread through it in these beautiful pale swirls. I could watch that for a long time. There is something really satisfying about it. The color changes from dark brown to a warm golden caramel. That is the tea. That is the morning. Let me take a moment to walk you around the kitchen and give you some useful vocabulary for the things I use every morning. The pan I cook my eggs in, you can call it a frying pan or a skillet. Both words are correct and widely used. Frying pan, skillet. If it is made of heavy cast iron, you might call it a cast iron skillet specifically. But frying pan works for almost any pan you use on the stove for cooking. The stove, or the hob. These are the words for the cooking surface in your kitchen. In American English, people usually say stove. In British English, you might hear hob more often. The flat surface with the rings or burners that you heat food on. Stove, hob. The burner. The burner is the specific part of the stove that produces heat. You turn on the burner. You adjust the burner to high or low heat. Burner. The toaster, the small electrical appliance that makes bread into toast. You put the bread in, you push the lever down, the bread goes inside and gets hot. And then pop. The toast is ready. Toaster, the kettle. Or electric kettle, the appliance for boiling water, for tea, for coffee, for anything that needs hot water. Kettle. The spatula, that flat-headed tool with a long handle for flipping and mixing food in a pan. Spatula. The grater, the tool with sharp holes or ridges that you press food against to produce small, thin pieces. Grater. The butter knife. A blunt, non-sharp knife used only for spreading soft things, not for cutting, just for spreading. Butter knife. The mug. Your large cup for hot drinks. Mug. These are the objects of your morning kitchen routine. And now you have the English for all of them. While we are in the kitchen, let me tell you about some different ways people make eggs, because scrambled eggs are just one option. Scrambled eggs. You already know this one. You mix the eggs together as they cook. The yolk and the white combine. You use a spatula to keep moving them in the pan. Scrambled. Fried eggs. You crack the egg into the pan and leave it completely alone. You do not mix anything. The white cooks around the yolk. The yolk stays whole and round in the middle, like a little yellow sun. Some people call this sunny side up. The yolk is facing up. Bright and whole, sunny side up. Some people flip the fried egg over at the end. Just for a moment, just to slightly cook the top of the yolk. This is called over easy. The egg goes over. The cooking is easy and quick. Over easy. An omelet. You beat the eggs together first in a bowl before they go in the pan. Then you pour the mixed eggs into a hot pan. Let them set slightly. Add fillings like cheese, vegetables, ham, and then fold the omelet over on itself. A half circle. Fold it over. An omelet and a boiled egg. You put the whole egg, shell and all, into boiling water, and you let it cook for a specific number of minutes. A soft boiled egg has a runny yolk, still liquid in the middle. A hard-boiled egg has a fully cooked solid yolk. Boiled egg. Runny, by the way, means liquid and flowing. A runny yolk. Some people love runny yolks. Some people find them unpleasant. I do not mind them, but I prefer my scrambled eggs a little more cooked, a little less wet, and bread. I make toast with bread. But there are many types of bread. White bread, the soft, light, pale bread. Mild flavor. Brown bread, made with whole wheat flour. Slightly denser, more nutritious. Sourdough, a bread with a slightly tangy flavor and a chewier texture, made with a natural fermentation process. Sourdough has become very popular in recent years. Texture, by the way, is a great word. Texture means the physical quality of something. How it feels. Soft. Crunchy. Chewy. Dense. Light. These are all texture words. The texture of sourdough is different from the texture of white bread. Chewier, more substantial, more something to bite into. All right, word tour time. Let me walk you through the key vocabulary from today. Word 1, preheat. To warm something up before you use it. For example, always preheat your oven before putting food inside or the cooking time will be completely wrong. Or, I preheated the pan for 2 minutes before adding the oil. Did you catch that one? Word 2, crack. To break the shell of an egg to get the egg out. For example, she cracked 4 eggs into the bowl without getting a single piece of shell in. Or, the first time I cracked an egg, I got shell everywhere. Did you hear that one? Word 3, Scramble. To mix eggs together while cooking them so the yolk and white combine. For example, he scrambled some eggs quickly for breakfast and ate them standing at the kitchen counter. Or, scrambled eggs are the fastest and easiest way to make eggs in the morning. Did you catch that one? Word 4, seasoning. The things you add to food for flavor. Salt, pepper, herbs, spices. For example, the soup was good, but it needed more seasoning. It tasted a little flat. Or she always adds her seasoning at the end and says it makes a difference. Did you hear that one? Word 5. A pinch. The small amount of something you can hold between your thumb and finger. For example, add just a pinch of salt, you do not need much. Or, a pinch of cinnamon in your coffee changes everything. Try it. Did you catch that one? Word 6. Grate. To rub something against a grater to produce small, thin pieces. For example, she grated fresh Parmesan over the pasta and the whole kitchen smelled incredible. Or, I always grate my own cheese rather than buying it pre-grated because it melts much better. Did you hear that one? Word 7. Steep. To leave a tea bag in hot water for a few minutes so the flavor comes out fully. For example, let the tea steep for at least 4 minutes if you want a strong cup. Or she always forgets her tea bag and lets it steep for 10 minutes and then wonders why it tastes so bitter. Did you catch that one? Word 8. Spread. To push something soft across a surface so it covers it evenly. For example, she spread a thick layer of peanut butter on her toast and added sliced banana on top. Or spread the butter while the toast is still warm so it melts in. Did you hear that one? Word 9. Tart. A flavor that is sharp and slightly sour in a pleasant way. For example, she preferred tart berries over sweet ones because she liked the sharpness. Or, this lemon cake is perfectly tart, not too sweet, not too sour. Just right. Did you catch that one? Word 10. Texture. The physical quality of something, how it feels. For example, the texture of this bread is incredible, chewy and slightly crispy on the outside. Or, good scrambled eggs should have a soft, creamy texture. Not dry, not rubbery, soft. Did you hear that one? Section 8. Practical framework. Before we finish today, here is your practical framework. 5 sentence starters to describe your own breakfast routine in English. Starter 1. Every morning I usually make a quick bowl of oatmeal with some fruit on top. Simple. Fast, but actually quite good. Starter 2. I always preheat I always preheat the pan before adding oil because otherwise everything sticks and the cleanup is a nightmare. Starter 3. My favorite breakfast is because, for example, my favorite breakfast is eggs on toast with a strong cup of tea because it is warm and filling and it makes me feel ready for the day. Starter 4. I could never start my morning without. For example, I could never start my morning without coffee, not because I need it to wake up, but because the ritual of making it is part of how I prepare myself for the day. Starter 5. The thing I always get wrong in the kitchen is, boiling eggs. I always either undercook them or overcook them. Never exactly right. Try one of these right now. Out loud, in English, your real answer about your real breakfast. Because the goal is always to find the English for your actual life. Not a textbook life, not an imaginary kitchen, your kitchen, your eggs, your morning mug. We have reached the end of today's episode, and I want to say something before you go. Your morning kitchen routine, it is full of English. More English than you might think. The pan preheating, the egg cracking, the toast popping, the tea steeping, the butter spreading, the first sip of something hot and strong and exactly right. These moments are ordinary, and they are full of language. Now you have the vocabulary. Preheat, crack, scramble, seasoning, a pinch, grate, steep, spread, tart, texture. Use these this week in your head while you are cooking, out loud to yourself in the kitchen, in a comment below. Because practicing English in the middle of your real daily life, that is the most powerful practice there is. Not in a classroom, not with a textbook. Right there, in your kitchen, with your eggs and your mug and your morning. Your comment homework for today: tell me what you usually have for breakfast. One sentence. In English. I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to know what people eat in the morning around the world, because every country has its own breakfast, and I find that fascinating. And if today's episode helped you, please share it with one person who is learning English. Just one. Because real English is for everyone, in every kitchen, in every morning routine, everywhere. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I am Emma, and I will see you in the very next episode. Bye!